Hey, good evening, everyone. In tonight's free video, I've been getting a ton of questions about the NASDAQ, Google, and Apple lately, and I decided to cover one of these in the free video. I wanted to cover Google here. So Google, you can see Google right here has essentially, it's made a pretty significant sell-off in the last couple of months, since basically January. Sold off from a high of about 630 down to 530. So sold off about $100. Now the interesting thing is, and one of the things that I talk about all the time is understanding basic, just basic momentum, and not by looking at necessarily indicators for it, but price. So one of the things you'll notice here, for example, and I think a lot of traders who trade fibs might know this, is when you get these impulses, right? So you get the markets move in impulses. You want to call them waves, whatever you want to call them, zigzags, but markets move in impulses. And when you get these really, really small retracements, those are an indication of strength. Okay, so when you get an example for an example like this, you get a move like from here, right there, to this high, right? And then you pull back and you get this minor retracement, and then it rallies up and it breaks through and it gets to the 127, 1618, and so on. And then you see the same thing happening again. This thing pulls up here, pulls down, very small retracement, breaks above, gets to the 127, 1618, and goes beyond it. It actually blows right through it, right? Blows through the 127, gets to the 1618, beats it out by $20, and then rolls over. So we're having that same situation happen here, and this is just pure price action. We're not looking at indicators, although I have the RSI here. We can remove that, and it wouldn't matter. I'll remove it right now. Doesn't matter, okay? But what you're looking at is just pure price action. So you've got this nice impulse leg to the downside here, okay? We sold off about $100. And now this retracement is very weak, okay? If we look at it on a weekly chart, it's even more noticeable, okay? So let me zoom here on the weekly chart, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So on the weekly chart, you can see we spent 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks selling, $100 of selling, and then 1, 2, 3 weeks of trying to move up. And in that 3 weeks, we weren't even able to take out 1 week of selling, the last week of selling. That tells you something. When you see things like that, that's an indication of what? Momentum, strength of the impulse move. Okay? Now, granted, you have this massive trend that happened, but right now, the most recent impulse move is the downside. Okay? So when you see things like that, okay, and you're seeing a lot of weakness, and you can just look at the time that it's spending down and the time that it's spending trying to get up. You got 4 weeks of it trying to get up and down, 4 weeks of it going down, 3 weeks of it trying to get up, and it can't even take out this high. That tells you something. Now, what about expectations? Where can you expect this to go? Well, if this thing takes out, if Google can take out the low here, so the lowest low here is, let's cancel this, the lowest low here is 522.46. So if this thing takes out 522.46 and closes below 522.46, okay, then you can expect a move to the 127 and then possibly the 1618. Okay, and then that's when other factors come in, like using symmetry to find the projection. But right now, as it stands, if this market takes out these lows, this is a high probability. Okay, you're looking at like 70% chance if it takes out these lows and closes. And then this right here is about another 50. This is about a 50% chance. Okay, so just keep an eye on that, watch it, and understand price action. All right, guys, hope that helps. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll see you guys at the next video update.